The sixth step in our 7-step first appointment approach is called the 3 stages of life. Let me demonstrate how that should be executed on a legal pad in the house in front of your client. And it's executed right after you complete the fact finder. And I usually say something like, folks, let me tell you what I believe, what I've learned. I've learned that there are really 3 primary stages of life when it comes to how we build and grow our estates. And I'll represent it this way. The first phase in our life is called the foundation phase. That's when we're just getting a start out in life. We're typically ages 18 to 34. New in the workforce. Typically most of us start out either renting an apartment or renting a home. We're getting a start in a brand new career, so we have very low income, right? Typically most of us are just paying for school or just out of school, so we have very little or no savings. So we really start out life together with no money. Is that how you folks started out? Like me, that's the way most of us do. Then we start to mature. We start moving into what we call the accumulation phase of our life, and that's typically ages 35 to 64. Now we're moving up in our careers. We're starting to earn a little bit more. Instead of renting a home, this is when most of us buy our first home. Instead of little or low income, these are positions where we have the most responsibility in this age bracket. Maybe we move into management. Maybe we become business owners. So we have an increased income, which I like to associate with the word flexibility. Well, flexibility to do what? Instead of no savings, it allows us the flexibility to start making investments. And what I like to do is I like to turn to my page 4 of the fact finder and identify some of the investments they currently have. Maybe some CDs, IRAs, maybe vacation property, whatever it may be. I like to personalize those investments here because that flexibility of income has allowed us to build those 401ks and so forth. Right? Because what we're really concerned about in this accumulation phase is building wealth. And it's really one word sums it up, and it's called growth. We're trying to improve our quality of lifestyle. We're trying to put something away for when we retire. We're trying to get our children through college. And in order for growth to take place, we must be willing to take risks. And quite honestly, we can because, again, we have that flexible increased income. We're younger, so we have time to recover from a catastrophic event in the marketplace. We're healthier as we're younger, so we can recover from illnesses and so forth. And we have that flexible income that can allow us to make those investments. As we move into the retirement ages 65 and older, we move out of the workplace. This is called our preservation phase of life. Doesn't mean we really have to change how we live, but we need to change how we look at our assets and how we positioned ourselves. Instead of having all this growth mindset and risk-taking ability, we need to first and foremost be thinking about safety. Well, why would we need to be thinking about safety just because we turned 65? Well, we've moved out of the workplace, so we're now living on a fixed income. Right? And the word I associate with that is certainly opposite of flexibility. It's not Flexible. So we're more susceptible to downturns in the market. We're no longer putting new dollars into those investment accounts, so our risk is raised, right? We need to be thinking about avoiding probate. And let me tell you folks, I've done a great review for you here today. We've made note of where we need to make changes. I'm going to take care of those for you here today. We've got a great head start on that. I'm a little concerned. We've identified possibly that you may be taking excessive risk in the marketplace. I've got some homework to do for that. We've also identified that we may have an opportunity to help you with some of your taxes. In addition to that, we've also seen that your heirs with your 401ks and your annuities stand to lose a considerable amount of that money to good old Uncle Sam when you pass away. I'll come back with a clear picture of that. And certainly, we don't have a plan in place for the creditor risk that you're taking. We don't have any income replacement opportunities in place currently. So folks, what I've got to do is I've got to put together a summary or a net worth statement for you. That's going to be my homework. I'm concerned that we've identified 2 or 3 of these items here and you currently don't have a plan. You're really behaving the way you were when you were 45 years old in the working world with a flexible income. You're taking those same risks that you are today on a fixed income when time's not so much on your side anymore. Now, I'm not sure what's right for you folks. I've got some homework to do, but I do know this. If you don't change the way you're handling your assets, you can end up right back here where you started, with very limited income, little or no savings, and no money. But you know what? My concern, folks, really are not, that's not what's important here. What is important here is what you're concerned about. At this point in time, what I do is I then hand each one of them an areas of concern worksheet, and I give them, here's your test. This will identify what you're concerned about so that when I do my homework and I come back next Tuesday at 10 o'clock with this snapshot of your estate and a risk profile for, or a net worth statement, my homework hits the mark. So that is step 6 that identifies, first of all, how you teach your client what the risk should be, and then you get the areas of concern worksheet filled out. They're telling you what their concerns actually are.